It's a prick of a job, really, but now you know how it's done. Welcome back to EBT Performance Pakenham, the home of Squids Speed Shop. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. We've got a V-Rod muscle in, and it's time for the valve clearances. So come along as I tear this thing down. We'll check through, see what the tolerances are like. We'll swap out the shims where needed, and we'll get this thing running on point. If you guys haven't seen the social media post yet, you're missing out. What you would have found out is that the merch is here. It's in the shop. It's all folded. It's on the racks. It's ready. So come on in and pick yourself up a Squid Speed Shop t-shirt or beanie. Show your support. It'd mean the world to me. Let's roll the time lapse. Let's dig in, and I'll point out anything that I find interesting for you. And you never know. For all you V-Rod owners, you might look at this and go, geez, I can check that. It's not that hard of a job. It's just time consuming. So let's get after it, guys. Alrighty, after messing around with that, we've now got the rocker boxes off. We can get to the cams. I will show you what that looks like. Don't be alarmed by the wear on the camshafts. The V-Rods, they are notorious for the chattering, the unusual wear marks. Any other vehicle, if you saw camshafts like this, you'd be like, got to be replaced. These V-Rods look like this 5,000 Ks in, and they'll look like that at 100,000 Ks. It doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, but it is just the nature of this world when it comes to the V-Rod motors. So what I've got here is I've got my spec sheet. I know what the clearances need to be, their minimum and their maximum, and I'm going to go through and measure the gap with some feeler gauges. If they don't meet the spec, well, then I've got to remove the camshafts. I've got to get to the shim. I've got to measure the shim and work out the difference so that I can put the right size in and we'll have the correct valve clearance. I'll give you a little look. I'll try and film how I go about measuring. Hard to get a camera in there. We'll see how we go. But essentially what I'm doing is I am putting each cam onto its base circle. So it's applying the least amount of pressure to the valve springs. And then I'll run my feeler gauge in and out. And that'll give me the valve lash. I then rotate the motor over, get to the next cam on the base circle, do it all over again. And so then I'll just note all of this down. I'll note down all of the measurements, and we'll know what we need, where we're at, so that I can get this sorted. There, so that's our front exhaust cam, front intake cam, move around to the rear. rear intake cam, back there, the rear exhaust. And see, they're the markings that I said don't get alarmed about. Anybody else is going to say, yep, they're trashed. Vrod life, that's what they look like. Essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my feeler gauge in here, in between the bucket and the cam, and measure that distance. I'll do the same on this one. I'll end up rotating the motor over to get this cam to look how that one's sitting at the minute on the base circle, and we'll measure those distances. I'll note it all down, and we'll see. Look, sometimes you get lucky, and they're all within spec. I don't like me chances. I mean, V-rods normally like to try and suck the life out of you, so this is par for the course. Alrighty, guys, gone through all the valve lash. Turns out that our intake on our rear cylinder, it's a bit tight, which is generally what happens. As the valve seat wears, the clearances get a little bit tighter. All of the others were within their minimum to maximum spec, so we're going to leave them alone. What that means is now, I've got to remove that cam, check what size the shims are that are in there, and then add a little more clearance. Now, this can be quite a frustrating job if you don't get your maths right, because when you put it all back together and you go to check it, and it's either way too loose or it's still too tight. So you've got to pay careful attention to the math, measure things correctly, then you won't have any issues. Alrighty guys, we have removed our buckets and then we're left with our shim. You can see that, guys. Woo! Little guy like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our micrometer, place it in the micrometer and just measure it up. So if you can read it there, guys, we're at 2.41. So then we write that down, 2.41 millimeter shim. I did the same thing for the other one. That is 0.05 mil thinner to give us a little more clearance. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my shim kit. And I'm going to look for a 2.35, so that will open up our clearance by 0.06 of a mil for that cylinder. The other one, I want a 40. So now we've selected our shims, we reinstall it, and we check it again. Always double check it after you've put your shim in. Worst case, you got it wrong, and you've got to swap it out again. It's not a big deal. Easier to do this now than start it up and have it making a horrible racket or not running right. So we'll put them in, we'll recheck it, and then I'll assemble the bike. Righty, now we've done the valve clearances. We've got everything set the way that we want. There's nothing more to do than replace the gaskets and put it all back together. Couple of key notes are you've got to be very careful putting these gaskets in. You got to make sure they are sitting exactly where they need to, or you will get leaks. When we're putting the bottom of the airbox back on, it has a breather tube that goes into the front head. Very important that we get that seated correctly. If not, they leak, they blow stuff all over the motor. This one, that's been the case. There's stuff everywhere, so I've got to clean it up first and then put that back together. Other than that, I'm just doing the reverse of what you saw me do to pull it apart. So I'll get after it. I won't bore you with the time lapse of how to put it back together. That way I can listen to some tunes and just enjoy the rest of my Friday afternoon. That was the plan for today. Get cracking on this, get it finished up. Here we have the breather leak that I was talking about. If you just follow the light, that's where it leaks from. And you can see all of the crud deep down in there. So I'm going to clean that all now that the rocker boxes are on. And you can see a bit of coolant down there. Yeah. So now that the rocker boxes is on, I don't have to worry about any of the debris getting anywhere. I've just got to block off the hole, clean this all, and I'll carry on with the installation. Here we have it, guys. V-Rod's all back together. Super happy. Thing sounds great. It's running great. Now nothing left to do but to call the customer and get this thing picked up. So I really appreciate all of you guys watching. Give it a like, comment, subscribe, share it with your buddies. Every little bit you do helps me tremendously. And make sure if you're after one of those t-shirts, they're in the store at the minute. Same with the beanies. You can come down and get one. I don't work on V-Rods very often. It's a prick of a job, really. But now you know how it's done. And hopefully you've seen enough that you're like, nah, I don't want to tackle that. But there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Uru.